I never thought I'd be sharing this story, but at 78, I've learned that some truths are too important to keep silent. My sister Martha was once vibrant, independent, and full of life at 75. She managed her own home, drove herself to community events, and hosted weekly card games with friends. Then a minor fall changed everything. Her doctor suggested a nursing home, just temporarily, while she recovered. 6 months later, Martha barely recognized me when I visited. She'd lost 30 pounds, developed bed sores, and spent most days staring blankly at a wall. This wasn't just about aging or her initial injury. Something else had happened to my sister behind those nursing home walls, something the glossy brochures and caring staff never mentioned during our tour. In this video, I'm going to reveal 6 hidden dangers of nursing homes that families are rarely told about before making this life-changing decision. These aren't just occasional problems or one-off incidents. They're systematic issues that affect thousands of elderly residents across the country every single day. Whether you're considering a nursing home for yourself or a loved one, or even if someone you care about is already living in one, this information could save them from unnecessary suffering and decline. These insights come not just from my personal experience, but from conversations with dozens of residents, former staff members, and healthcare experts who've witnessed these issues firsthand. Stay with me until the end, because the final risk I'll share is perhaps the most disturbing of all. It's something that happens in nearly 40% of nursing homes nationwide, yet most families never discover it until it's too late. Understanding this hidden danger could be the difference between your loved one thriving in their final years or experiencing a rapid, heartbreaking decline that no one sees coming until the damage is already done. The first hidden danger of nursing homes isn't about what they don't provide. It's about what they give too much of: medications. What many families don't realize is that once an elderly person enters a nursing home, their medication regimen often changes dramatically and rarely for the better. I witnessed this firsthand with my sister Martha. Before moving to the nursing home, she took 3 medications daily. Within 2 months, she was on 9 different prescriptions, including 2 powerful antipsychotics, despite never having any psychiatric diagnosis. When I questioned this, the staff explained it was to help her sleep and manage her anxiety. The truth is that many nursing homes use medications, particularly sedatives and antipsychotics, as chemical restraints. They're understaffed and overwhelmed, and a drowsy, compliant resident requires less attention than an alert, possibly frustrated one. Consider Eleanor, an 83-year-old former librarian who entered a highly rated nursing facility in Denver. Her daughter Jane noticed her mother becoming increasingly lethargic and confused during visits. Mom was always sharp as a tack, Jane told me. Suddenly, she couldn't follow simple conversations. After investigating, Jane discovered her mother was receiving sedatives 3 times daily, medication that was never discussed with the family. Dr. Robert Kenton, a geriatric specialist with 30 years of experience, explained, in many facilities, up to 40% of residents are given antipsychotic medications, but only a small fraction have conditions that warrant these powerful drugs. It's a form of chemical restraint that's easier and cheaper than providing adequate staffing for proper care. What can you do? If your loved one is in a nursing home or about to enter one, request a complete medication list monthly. Question any new prescriptions, especially sedatives, antipsychotics, or anxiety medications. Ask specifically, what is the medical diagnosis that requires this medication, and were alternatives tried first? Remember, a drowsy family member might be easier to care for, but that sedation comes at a tremendous cost to their quality of life and cognitive function. The second hidden danger of nursing homes might seem obvious, yet few families fully understand its devastating impact: profound social isolation. When my friend William placed his father in what seemed like a wonderful facility in Charlotte, the brochure promised vibrant community living and daily social activities. During his visits, William would see residents gathered in the common areas, watching TV or playing games. But when he visited unexpectedly one Tuesday afternoon, he found a different reality. His father alone in his room, the common areas nearly empty, and most residents confined to their rooms or beds. This wasn't a one-time occurrence. The truth is, many nursing homes present a carefully orchestrated image during scheduled visiting hours and family events. But the day-to-day reality for most residents involves long stretches of solitude with minimal meaningful human interaction. Margaret, a 75-year-old former teacher who lived in a Baltimore nursing home for 3 years, described her experience. "Some days the only human touch I received was when an aide helped me dress in the morning and undress at night. Sometimes 15 or 20 hours would pass with nobody speaking directly to me, not even my name." Research confirms this isn't unusual. A study from University of California found that nursing home residents spend an average of 18 hours per day alone in their rooms. Even more concerning, they experience fewer than 2 minutes of genuine social interaction per hour during waking time. Dr. Elaine Healy, medical director at a New York nursing home, explains social isolation in nursing homes is as dangerous as many physical ailments. It accelerates cognitive decline, increases depression, and even impacts immune function. Yet it remains largely unaddressed in most care plans. This isolation occurs for many reasons: understaffing, prioritization of physical over emotional needs, and the gradual disconnection from family and friends as visiting becomes less frequent. The result is a profound loneliness that can be as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, according to recent research. If you have a loved one in a nursing home, visit at unpredictable times. Look beyond the scheduled activities and ask, how much time does your family member spend alone? What meaningful conversations do they have each day? Is anyone addressing them by name, making eye contact, or touching them compassionately? If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward to risk 3, preventable physical decline. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of nursing home care is watching someone who walked in under their own power become bedridden within months. This rapid physical deterioration isn't always due to age or illness. It's often the direct result of institutional practices that, intentionally or not, promote immobility. Take Thomas, a 79-year-old who entered a nursing home after a hip replacement. He was expected to recover and eventually return home. During his first month, staff regularly helped him with physical therapy and walking short distances. But as weeks passed, assistance became less frequent. Eventually, staff found it faster to use a wheelchair than to help him walk, even for short distances. It's easier to transport 6 residents in wheelchairs than help one person walk down the hall, explained Maria, a nursing assistant with 15 years of experience. We're judged on efficiency, not on preserving independence. This convenience care approach leads to a devastating cycle. Less walking means muscle atrophy, which leads to increased fall risk, which justifies even more mobility restrictions. Within 6 months, many formerly mobile residents become partially or completely bedridden, not from their original condition, but from enforced immobility. The medical term for this is iatrogenic disability caused by the healthcare system itself. And it happens with alarming frequency. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that 65% of nursing home residents experience significant physical decline within 1 year of admission, decline that wasn't explained by their medical conditions. Carol Baker, a physical therapist specializing in geriatric care, told me, "The human body follows a simple rule: use it or lose it." In many nursing homes, the emphasis on safety over mobility creates a spiral of decline that's nearly impossible to reverse once it begins. The saddest part: this decline is often mistaken for normal aging. Families accept their loved one's increasing immobility as inevitable, never realizing it might have been prevented with consistent walking assistance, regular physical activity, and an emphasis on maintaining independence in daily tasks. If your loved one is in a nursing home, advocate fiercely for daily mobility. Ask specific questions about how often they walk, stand, and perform tasks independently. Request a formal mobility care plan and follow up on its implementation. Remember, In the nursing home environment, what isn't actively maintained will almost certainly be lost. The fourth danger is one that families rarely consider until it's too late: systematic financial exploitation. We all expect nursing homes to be expensive. That's no secret. What most families don't realize is how many hidden fees, unexpected charges, and questionable billing practices exist beneath the surface of the quoted monthly rate. My neighbor Richard placed his mother in what he thought was an affordable facility with a clearly stated monthly fee. 6 months in, he was shocked to discover his mother's substantial savings had been depleted by charges for extra services, many of which were briefly mentioned in the fine print of a 30-page admission agreement he signed during an emotional and overwhelming intake process. These charges included $22 each time staff answered his mother's call button more than twice in a day, $35 for each staff intervention during a period of confusion, and even $15 per meal delivery when she wasn't feeling well enough to eat in the dining room. None of these fees were prominently disclosed during the admission process. Patricia Moore, an elder law attorney with 25 years of experience, explained, "Many nursing homes operate on what I call a nickel and dime billing model. The base rate gets families in the door, but the actual cost ends up being 40 to 60% higher once all the extra charges accumulate." Even more troubling are the ways some facilities access residents' personal funds. Janet, an 82-year-old widow, gave the business office limited permission to pay for her weekly hair appointments from her personal account. 6 months later, her daughter discovered thousands of dollars of unauthorized withdrawals for convenience items and activity fees that Janet had never agreed to nor received. These practices aren't limited to small, struggling facilities. Some of the largest nursing home chains in America have faced multiple lawsuits for financial exploitation, yet the practices continue because families rarely have the time, energy, or resources to fight back once their loved one is established in a facility. To protect your family member, never sign financial agreements without careful review, ideally with an elder law attorney. Request itemized bills monthly and question every charge you don't understand. Set up alerts on any personal accounts the facility can access, and consider establishing a small, limited account specifically for the facility with strict withdrawal parameters. Remember, a rushed financial agreement signed during the emotional stress of nursing home admission can have consequences that last for years. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's talk about Risk 5, the hygiene illusion. When touring a nursing home, you'll notice the fresh paint, polished floors, and carefully maintained common areas. What you won't see are the corners cut on resident hygiene, one of the most intimate and important aspects of daily care. During my sister's nursing home stay, I discovered she was receiving a full bath or shower just once a week. The remaining days involved a quick wipe with a cloth, what staff called a bed bath, but what barely maintained basic cleanliness. When I questioned this, the director explained that industry standards only required 1 full bathing session weekly. This wasn't an isolated incident or substandard facility. Sarah, who worked as a certified nursing assistant at 3 different nursing homes in the Midwest, confirmed this practice is widespread. Even in the best facilities, there simply isn't enough staff to provide proper bathing. We're often assigned 10 to 15 residents per shift. A proper shower takes 30 to 45 minutes when done respectfully and thoroughly. The math simply doesn't work. Beyond bathing, other hygiene corners are cut regularly. Teeth often go unbrushed for days, especially for residents who can't advocate for themselves. Incontinence briefs may not be changed promptly, leading to skin breakdown and infections. Even hand washing before meals, a basic health practice, is often overlooked due to time constraints. Daniel, whose 86-year-old father developed multiple urinary tract infections in a highly rated California nursing home, discovered the cause was infrequent changing of incontinence products. The staff assured me he was being changed as needed, but when I started checking his briefs during visits, I often found he'd been sitting in soiled conditions for hours. Dr. Melissa Henshaw, a geriatrician who consults for nursing homes, explained, inadequate hygiene isn't just a dignity issue, it's a serious health risk. We see higher rates of urinary tract infections, skin infections, and respiratory illness in facilities where basic hygiene is compromised. What can you do? First, specifically ask about bathing schedules during the admissions process. Get it in writing if possible. Make unexpected visits during what should be bathing times. Check for subtle signs of hygiene neglect, persistent body odor, unwashed hair, often wrinkled clothing, or unchanged bed linens. If your loved one is cognitive, ask privately about their bathing experiences. Remember, while facility administrators may dismiss hygiene concerns as preference issues, regular, thorough bathing is a healthcare necessity, not a luxury. The sixth and perhaps most devastating hidden danger of nursing homes is what I call the terminal transition, the subtle but systematic way that many facilities guide declining residents toward end of life, sometimes far earlier than medically necessary. This isn't about dramatic neglect or obvious harm. It's a quiet, almost invisible process where small decisions accumulate. A little less encouragement to eat, slightly delayed responses to call buttons, reduced efforts to engage and stimulate, and subtle shifts from restorative care to comfort care, often without explicit family discussions. My friend Edward placed his wife, Catherine, in a nursing home after her stroke. Though partially paralyzed, she was alert, communicative, and determined to improve. During the first 3 months, staff regularly helped her with rehabilitation exercises and encouraged her progress. But as time passed, Edward noticed a change in their approach. They stopped challenging her, he told me. The speech therapist visited less frequently. The aides no longer encouraged her to feed herself. They just took over. When I asked about it, they said they were making her comfortable, but Catherine wanted to work on her recovery, not be made comfortable. Within 10 months, Catherine had declined significantly, not from her stroke's progression, but from what geriatric specialists call failure to thrive in institutional settings. What Edward didn't know was that his wife's care plan had been quietly shifted from rehabilitation to end-of-life management without a direct conversation about this fundamental change. Linda Rodriguez, who worked as a nursing director at several facilities, explained this phenomenon. There's enormous pressure to maintain certain staffing ratios and care metrics. A resident who needs substantial assistance with improvement-focused care requires more time and resources than one who's merely being kept comfortable until the end. The system inherently favors the latter approach. This terminal transition isn't necessarily malicious. It often stems from resource constraints, staffing limitations, and the institutional focus on managing decline rather than fostering improvement. Yet the consequences are profound. Many residents who might have maintained or even improved their conditions with consistent, engagement-focused care instead experience accelerated decline. Dr. Kenneth Brummel-Smith, former chair of geriatrics at Florida State University College of Medicine, puts it bluntly. Some nursing home residents don't die from their diseases. They die from the care environment's failure to provide sufficient stimulation, nutrition, hydration, and mobilization. If your loved one is in a nursing home, be vigilant about their care goals. Request regular care plan meetings and explicitly discuss whether the approach is restorative or palliative. Challenge any premature shift toward comfort-only care if your family member has potential for maintaining or improving function. Remember that in the nursing home environment, the path of least resistance leads toward decline. Fighting against this current requires persistent advocacy. After learning about these 6 hidden dangers, medication overuse, social isolation, preventable physical decline, financial exploitation, hygiene shortcuts, and premature end-of-life transitions, you might be wondering if any nursing home can provide safe, dignified care for those you love. The truth is more nuanced than a simple yes or no. Not all nursing homes are created equal. And even within problematic systems, there are compassionate staff working against tremendous odds to provide genuine care. When my own mother needed nursing home care after her severe stroke, I approached the decision with eyes wide open. I knew the risks but also recognized that her needs exceeded what home care could provide. Armed with awareness of these 6 dangers, I was able to select a facility more carefully and advocate more effectively than I could have otherwise. I visited multiple homes at different times of day, including weekends and evenings when staffing is typically lower. I asked pointed questions about medication protocols, specifically about sedative use. I requested data on staff turnover rates and resident-to-aide ratios, 2 critical indicators of care quality. I spoke with family members of current residents, preferably those whose loved ones had been there a year or longer. Most importantly, I didn't stop advocating once my mother was admitted. I varied my visiting schedule to see care patterns at different times. I developed relationships with frontline staff rather than just administrators. I participated actively in every care plan meeting and questioned any medication changes immediately. I supplemented the facility's social programming with regular visitors from our family and community. Did this eliminate all risks? No, but it significantly improved my mother's experience and likely extended both her life and its quality. She still faced challenges, but the sharp decline I witnessed in my sister Martha and others was largely avoided. The sad reality is that our elder care system remains deeply flawed. Chronic understaffing, inadequate training, profit-driven management, and insufficient oversight create an environment where these 6 dangers flourish. Until broader reforms occur, knowledge and advocacy remain our strongest defenses. If you're facing nursing home decisions for yourself or someone you love, remember that you're not powerless. The simple awareness of these hidden risks positions you to ask better questions, notice warning signs earlier, and advocate more effectively. Don't sign paperwork without reading it carefully. Don't accept vague reassurances about care standards. Don't assume that professional credentials guarantee compassionate care. Instead, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong during a tour or visit, it probably is. If explanations seem evasive or defensive, press harder for clear answers. If your loved one shows signs of unusual sedation, isolation, or rapid decline, investigate immediately. For those already navigating this difficult terrain with family members in nursing homes, know that your presence and advocacy matter tremendously. Residents with regular, attentive visitors typically receive better care. Your vigilance sends a powerful message. Someone is watching, someone cares, and someone will speak up. And if a situation becomes clearly harmful despite your best efforts, remember that transfer to another facility, while challenging, remains an option. Document concerns meticulously, consult with ombudsman services available in every state, and prioritize your loved one's well-being over institutional convenience. The journey through nursing home care is rarely easy, but it need not be catastrophic. Armed with awareness, vigilance, and unwavering advocacy, we can help ensure that our elders' final chapter is written with dignity, comfort, and the respect they deserve. Thank you for joining me today for this difficult but necessary conversation. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life or the life of someone you love. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. In our next video, we'll be discussing alternatives to nursing homes, including innovative home care options, technology solutions, and community-based programs that can help many seniors avoid institutional care altogether. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.